this is Sudeep Agrari. My major is Computer Information System with concentration in cybersecurity. Welcome everyone to this video where we are going to learn how to create a pivot chart and a pivot table. For the first task, we are going to calculate the gross margin. Go ahead and select cell S1 in column S and label it as gross margin. Click enter. Now in cell S2, we are going to put our formula to calculate the gross margin with an equals to sign, which tells the Excel that we want Excel to perform this task for us. And we're going to put the formula over here. Click enter. Now that we have our gross margin in cell S1, for the rest of the cell we can do it in two ways. First, we can either do the normal Control C or Command C to copy it, and a green dancing line will appear in front around this selected cell. Click the arrow down button on the keyboard and click enter. Now we can continue doing this for the rest of the cell, or we can use a very good function to bulk copy all of this information the rest of the remaining cell. As you can see, when I selected these two sets, a green small box appeared here. As I move my cursor, the white cross changes into a small black cross, which I can select and drag up and down to fill the rest of the information. Now I can also double click there to fill all the remaining cells with their respective gross margin. Now we are going to select the whole worksheet to create the pivot table. For that, we can do it two ways. We can either come to column A on the right corner. You can see this small triangle. You can click there to select the whole worksheet, or you can click anywhere on this whole worksheet. I've selected this cell D12 and press a Control A or a Command A if you are on a Mac, and it will select the whole table. Now go to the insert ribbon and click pivot table. Now a dialog box will open where it will show us the location of our range or table, and it asks us if we want to use a new worksheet or an existing worksheet. We want to work on a new worksheet, so go ahead and click OK. And now we are going to rename this worksheet as W1. Now as you can see that here is this chart, and here are all the pivot table fields. What we are going to do is we are going to choose the fields from the pivot table fields to make our pivot table. So for this task, we are going to use sales channel, drag and drop it onto the column section, and select the ship date and drag it drop to the row section. And remember, we are always going to drag and drop. We are never going to check this because always something weird happens if you do that. Now for this task, we are only going to use the quarter ship date. So go ahead and select this arrow and click on remove field. Continue doing this for rest of them. Now we are going to put some calculated value in the value section. For that, we are going to use our gross margin that we calculated before and drag and drop it here. Now we are going to use the sum of order quantity and drag and drop it down here. In the sum of gross margin, we are actually going to calculate the average of it. So go ahead and click on this down arrow and click on the value field setting. Here we can choose among all the different type of calculation that we want to do. We are going to choose average, and we are also going to change the number format to two decimal place. So we go ahead and click number, and here as we can see that it's already 2, so we do not need to do anything, and we do not need to use comma for this decimal points. So go ahead and click double OK. Now for this sum of order quantity, we are going to use sum, so we do not need to change that, but we need to change the number formatting for this one. So go ahead and click here, go to value field setting, and go to number format. Again, we are going to choose the number and change this to a 0. As you can see that it was 2 because we used 2 for the first one, and Excel remembers that. We are going to change it to a 0, and we are going to use a comma for this one, as it will make things easier for us to understand. Okay, let's go and click OK. Now we have calculated and we have made our pivot table. Now we are going to do a function called insert slicer. Here in the pivot table analyze ribbon, you can see that there is this function called insert slicer. Now we are going to select that, and we are going to choose sales channel and product for this task. Go ahead and click OK. Now as you can see that there are these two things that opened up. Among these, we are going to use the product and the sales channel. In the sales channel, we are going to use online, and in the product, we are going to use sculpture. So go ahead and search sculpture here. Now as we can see that we have the value here. Now what we are going to do is we are going to represent that in a pivot chart. For that, select anywhere on the pivot table, go to insert, and as you can see that there are many charts that we can choose for. For this task, we are going to select the combo chart, which is at the very end. Go ahead and click there. In there, we are going to select the second option, that is the clustered column line on secondary axis chart. We can resize this chart to display the value more clearly. Now, as you can see, the chart has displayed the information that is displayed in the pivot table. Let's see what happens if we change any of these options from product or sales channel. Let's change it to pillows. We can see that the value in the pivot table, it changed, and so did the pivot chart. And this is how we basically create a pivot table and a pivot chart. This is the end of our video. Let's save this file. Go to files, click on save as, and give the name of your liking. I'm going to leave it like this.